Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the BFNL Football Show for another week, proudly supported by McDonald's Ballarat and Ballarat Toyota. And as always, we've got our special guest on the show, Aaron Nunn. Nunny, welcome, mate. First of all, big night last night on the Robbie Allen Medal. Went pretty well.
Huge night, great night. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but Dane Swan, huge hit with the kids.
Very good. We'll go to last weekend's big weekend of BFL action, mate. The first game we'll look at is Ballarat and Bacchus Marsh. This game was relocated Saturday morning due to the Bacchus Marsh ground being flooded, mate, or part of the ground being flooded.
Yeah, it was amazing. We might put a photo up, just have a look at it, as you can see from the photo we've just put up there. It's a huge deluge of rain on the Friday night, mate, and covered the surface, which made it unplayable, so we had no choice but to relocate that game. Yeah,
well done to the league, obviously, to relocate the game at late notice and obviously get the seniors and the reserves games played. In that game, Ballarat 10-14-74, defeated Bacchus Marsh 9-8-62, so a win that Ballarat needed to have, Nunny. And obviously they secured their spot in terms of sixth on the ladder, and they can't be removed from that spot. So we'll talk about their game this weekend against Sunbury, but just a good win on the weekend to, I suppose, get the 4 points and a bit of confidence. And
frustrating game to watch, though, because obviously I was there and having a look. The first quarter was
a bit ordinary.
Very ordinary. They took a while to get into the game. Their second and third quarters were quite good. They controlled the play and they put the score on the board as well. And then the last quarter, whilst they still managed 3 goals in the appalling conditions, they allowed 6 goals to be leaked to the Bacchus Marsh forwards. So a little bit concerning, that they're leaking goals the way they are at the moment, especially against a side like Bacchus Marsh. Let's not beat around the bush; they should beat them comfortably.
No disrespect to Bacchus Marsh, but Ballarat, if they want to be a contender come finals time, they got to win those games quite
comfortably. Absolutely, you're not wrong there. So look, it's a little bit concerning, but the positive signs were, Matt Dawson had a fantastic match. He seems to be running himself back into form. Ashley Baker, I'm just amazed by how this bloke keeps coming up week after week and getting in the best as well. And look, Sam Caldo, he fought his heart out all day as well. So, 3 of the better players there on the day.
No, Nunny, East Point played Lake Wind during the weekend. East Point were too good. The form of Gavin Webb, big Graham Webb's been pretty good of late.
Gravy Webb, yeah.
He's moved up forward and provided a bit of a focal point for Lake Wind, which is good. They've obviously lost a lot of players, as we all know, throughout the off-season, and they struggled for a focal point up there for most of the season, but he swung himself forward the last month or so and kicked some goals as well. A couple of beauties in the weekend too. Couple of left foot snaps. And that's
a bit of look at me type stuff, isn't it? He's moved himself up forward and pushed his own barrow there, is he, a little bit? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. He's always been playing down back for many years.
Yeah, he's a very modest bloke, Webby.
Great man, Webby. Yeah,
wouldn't be that type of person.
I'm sure he's just enjoying playing up forward though, and playing a different role in a young side. And he kicked 5 goals last weekend, so you never know. I'm sure next year he'll probably go back once they get some players back into the side.
That's the key point. Like they lack key forwards. They've got no one to kick their goals up forward, and that's a reason for why. He's tall. He can kick a ball, and he's very athletic, obviously for his size as well. So. It's a natural fit for him to move up forward in the side that he's got this year.
Exactly. Now, East Point 22-17-149, defeated Lake Wendouree 12-7-79. Brad Woody kicked 6 goals, and I think, Nunny, I think if East Point are to contend this year, they can't afford to rely on Dan Jordan, and must be really pleasing for Dan Jordan to know that he's got some help around him.
Yeah, Brad's had a pretty good year.
Yeah, and Brad's played some good footy the last 2 years now, so pleasing for them. But look, East Point, massive game coming up this weekend, but with that win on the weekend, it still gives them a chance to finish top 3.
Well, it all comes down to this week's game, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But they're sitting pretty at the moment. All they have to do is win one more game, and they've got that fantastic third spot also up. So, look, a great result for them on the weekend. Brad Whittaker, as we said, is providing a very good focal point for them, other than DJ. So now, sides coming up against them have got 2 headaches on their hands, and they're going to be tough to beat in the finals this year.
Yeah, for sure. Nunny, Melton fared well this season 2012 with victory over Sebastopol. They'd be pleased to get the win there, and their season's been disappointing. They'd be disappointed with the way they've played for the majority of the year. To finish second last is probably a disappointing result for them. But I suppose in saying that they've finished the season with 4 points is pleasing.
Yeah, it's the same old story with Melton, it seems, the last couple of years. They've started okay, they've got a win or 2 on the board. And then there's one game that you could probably link it back to where they've just they haven't been competitive in a game, or they've thrown away a good lead or something like that, and then it all unravels from that point forward. Consistency is the thing for the Bloods to work on over the summertime. Maybe recruit a couple of bigger bodies and more experienced players to the side, which hopefully they'll be able to do over the summertime, and I'm sure you'll see them back up in the top 6 in no time.
Yeah, for sure. And Redan did everything they could on the weekend, I suppose, to secure their minor premiership with their win over Melton South. It wasn't too convincing, Nani, at half time. Redan were only leading by a goal, and then kicked away in the second half to run out winners 12-9-81, defeated Melton South 5-10-40. So 41 point winners in the end, but not too convincing, and probably some improvement, I suppose, that Redan will be looking for over, I suppose, the next week and a half before the first week of finals, because they probably know they need to play better footy, and they're getting some players back, I think, in the next couple of weeks.
Grant Bell, has he been the recruit of the year so far?
I think so. He's been outstanding, Belly. Probably the last 2 months, really.
Yep.
His form the last 2 months has been as good as anyone going around.
Brenton Reardon might have something to say about that too.
Yeah. So Belly's played a pretty high level of footy in the past. He
Yes.
played Vic Country Belly with the likes of Selwood and these sort of guys. And then he's obviously played at North Boat the last couple of years. So he's played some good levels of footy in the past. So he knows what it takes to play good footy. So it's good to see him doing well. And look, from Melton South's point of view, Nunny, not a bad result really for them. I think they were competitive for half, and I think they'll be pleased with that.
Yeah, look, they'd be disappointed to be missing the 6 this year after finishing in the top 6 last season. And look, if you speak to most people about the competition, the top sides have maybe slipped back a little bit towards the rest of the competition too. So to have that, the top sides come back and the bottom sides maybe lifting up a little bit, we've got a far more even competition this season.
Yeah.
They'd be very disappointed not to make the finals this year, and obviously they've been surpassed by the Darleys and the East Points of the competition, who have just been able to put those better performances on the board when needed.
For sure, and Sunbury show that they're a class side with the win over North City. North City once again stumbled against a good side. Probably shows that they're not caught up to it at the moment, North City, and they might finish 4th or 5th, and I mean, it's very hard to win the flag from that latter position, but they've got some work to do over the next week or so to challenge those better sides come September. So for Sunbury's sake, they're a really good win, and you think they'll win this week against Ballarat and finish second on the ladder.
Yeah, look, a really good win for Sunbury, and I think really good for their confidence. I think they're really starting to build towards what they were hoping to be a very successful finals campaign this season. They head into this year's final series, not the hot favourites, not the raging runaway winners that everyone's expecting them to be. So I think that'll suit them because that pressure has probably got to them over the last few years, and they just haven't delivered. Even in the games before matches, heading into a grand final, they've still shown a few kinks in their armour, I guess you could say. So. A really good win for them over North Ballarat City, a very quality opposition, and they had some very good players out of that side on Saturday night too. Let's not forget about that. So Michael Williams and Tristan Cartledge both didn't play that game either, and they're crucial to their structure and their lineup as well. So
every side has injuries none of this time.
They do. But look, these late rounds, especially with the top 6 zone up, there are games that you can't read too much into because they might be going at 75%, maybe 80%, because they just want to get to the finals and get their full squads through. And you watch from next week onwards, that's when the pace is going to pick up, and I think we're going to really find out who's serious about winning the premiership this season.
Yep, no, for sure. And that caps off a pretty big weekend of BFNL action from last weekend, and we've got some big games coming up next weekend we'll touch on pretty shortly. But Nunny, last weekend the Robbie Allen Medal, a fantastic night, 670 guests, a record attendance crowd, I suppose, of all time, and just goes to show that how much the competition's moved on in recent times with the netball this year. And I think Wardy mentioned, when this night first started, it was a pint, a can of Coke, and so it certainly
at Saxon House with about maybe 50 or 60 people, and it progressed and got bigger and bigger. I think we moved it down to the Ballarat Leagues Club one year, and then obviously out to the Bell Tower at the McCure out at Alfred and there. And to its home now at the McCure Ballarat, it's the Ballarat Lodge there. So it's just steadily grown, got bigger and bigger with the inclusion of netball. The atmosphere in the room last night, I think, with the netballers involved, just added a new element too, which was fantastic. And we've got a fantastic competition here now, and we've got a lot of support too from our clubs, which is great. And everyone should be congratulated for contributing.
It's also good, I think. A lot of those young kids, most of them would watch the Brownlow medal. They watch all their stars get dressed up in a suit and tie and so forth. And for them to get dressed up as well, it's their night to celebrate their year. So it's great of them to show much pride and all that sort of stuff as well. So
what do you think of Dane Swan?
Well, Swan was all right. I think he's a different sort of bloke, and I thought he spoke really well in terms of his I suppose his upbringing and how he's not the typical sort of footballer that really cares a hell of a lot.
No.
But not everyone's the same. And look, he's an outstanding player. Won last year's Brownlow medal. So to get an insight from last year's Brownlow medalist into, I suppose, the way he prepares and his journey to AFL football was really insightful. And I'm sure everyone who was there got a fair bit out of what he had to say.
Yeah, look, he was obviously a popular attendee last night too, because as soon as he walked in the door, he was just swamped by kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely everyone wanted their photo taken with him. And look, he was more than happy to sign jumpers and sign photos and autographs and all that sort of stuff. So
no, he was good, and I think for a player of his calibre to come to the night was great as well. I mean, we can get AFL players up, but to get last year's Brownlow medalist, the best player in the AFL from last year, is a fantastic.
Great effort.
Matty, now just touch on the award winners from last night, the Robbie Allen Medal Award winners in the under 16.5 competition. Darcy Gallup won the award.
Yeah, Darcy's whilst he hasn't played a majority, he's played over half of the season in the BFL. He had some really good performances in the games that he did play, and then he really stepped up in our interleague games too. So a very worthy winner of the award.
And Lachlan Thornton, this kid seems to be winning a fair bit on this night. Yeah,
watch this space for this kid's name. He's going to be a superstar of the future.
He won the best and fairest as well, and won the best and fairest last year as well, I think, from memory. So
yeah, absolutely. And look, the challenges are for him to keep working hard on his game and then progress through into the age groups and hopefully move on to TAC Cup and who knows what from there.
That's right. And Jesse Marshall won the under 12s as well. So went on to Jesse.
Can clearly play. Won both the Robert Allen Medal and his league best in fairness quite comfortably. Well done, Jesse.
Very good. Now, Nutty, the big netball round from last weekend. May just touch on the scores briefly. Ballarat 52 defeated Backasmarsh 48. Lake Wendouree 51. Probably the match of the round, defeated East Point 48. Melton 55 defeated Sebastopol 26. Redan 68 defeated Melton South 20. And Sunbury 46 defeated North City 39. Nutty, just touch on the netball briefly.
A couple of interesting results there.
Ballarat's lost a couple of weeks ago to Sunbury.
Sebastopol.
Yeah. Sorry, Ballarat's lost to Sebastopol 2 weeks ago. That's proven very costly for Ballarat.
It's cost them a spot in the six. They got themselves to blame. They obviously didn't turn up to that game that day to play, and it has cost them an extra week at least in their season. Look, they're going to be absolutely gutted by that. But the more concerning thing coming out of that game is Backasmarsh form heading into the finals. They play Sebastopol this weekend. They need to have a big win against Sebast this week to really get their confidence up and ahead of some big games going into the final series. But it'd have to be concerning for Frank and the girls down there to lose this game to Ballarat. And the game they should win.
Should win, exactly. Yeah.
Good to see East Point closing the gap on Lake Wendouree too. So two really good quality sides have obviously had a really good hit out with each other on the weekend.
Great to see. Good final series shaping up in the netball as well.
Absolutely.
Nani, moving on to the senior football for this weekend. Some big games, but I think some irrelevant games as well.
Yeah.
First game we'll look at Ballarat v Sunbury. Both sides in the six, but the games are relevant. Like Sunbury.
Question for you: if you're a senior coach in the Ballarat Football League at the moment, you're going into a dead rubber round 18. Would you rest players?
If there was a reason to rest players, I wouldn't rest players just for the sake of it.
Yep.
I'd rest a player if he's got some sort of niggle and it might benefit his performance the following week.
Yep.
You don't flirt with your form too much. I wouldn't have thought of this time of year, but if a week's going to freshen a player up for the following week, by all means do it. But I don't think we'll see too many players rested. I think the odd player might get rested from this game. Ballarat can't drop out of the six and they can't progress any higher.
They can if North Ballarat City lose to Melton South, which you expect wouldn't happen.
That's right. So and Sunbury will finish second as well. So you think that this game doesn't mean a hell of a lot, but in saying that though, you don't want to. Sunbury, I think they've got their season back on track in the last couple of weeks, so they don't want to flirt with their form too much. I
don't think they will.
So I think Sunbury will win this game. Darley and East Point, clearly the match of the round. This game means...
Two sides who won't be resting players.
This game means so much because we know how important the third position is.
Well, their finals start this weekend, don't
it does,
it's not an elimination, obviously, but there's so much up for grabs for the winner of this game.
I think the two main points here is you finish third and you play Ballarat. You'd rather play Ballarat than North City, let's face that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And the next thing is you finish third, you win the first week, you put yourself in the second team with a double chance. So there's so much.
And you lose this game, you actually drop down to fifth because North Ballarat City, assuming they.
There's no difference between fourth and fifth anyway. So
no,
but I think this is a huge game. I think at home, Darley can win this game.
I think Darley will win.
Their form's been outstanding.
Yeah.
Lake Wendouree play Redan at the Wendouree Reserve, Nunny. It's good to see that this game being played at home for Lakers. Last game of the year.
It's going to be a messy game, I think.
Well,
there's another one, but you could see Redan dropping a few players out. A couple of their older players, Jared Edwards, I wouldn't be surprised if they rest him.
Yep.
Maybe a couple of the older guys. Although Nick Bye, they would need to get some game time into him, so you would expect him to play. A couple of other guys that probably want to get some form into there too. Yep. So.
Melton South play North City. You think North City just need to win this game to gain some momentum coming into the finals?
Lost 2 straight. They won't want to go in losing 3 straight, that's for sure.
Yep. And Sebastopol play back a smash in probably a dead rubber game. But it's amazing, I reckon, if a side that can finish a season with a win, it just
take that momentum into the process.
Yeah, and you finish the season on a high.
Yeah.
So there's obviously festivities that follow a final game for a club, so they'd be desperate both sides to win this game. I reckon Sebastopol have a big chance at home too.
Both clubs will be looking to win this game. Don't underestimate that for sure. They'll be looking for 4 points, and as you said, want to finish the year on a high. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think Sebastopol can get up too.
Yep. Yeah, Nutty, any more nominations for Mark and goal of the year, mate?
I reckon Gavin Webb's goal on the weekend. That'd be a ripper. So we might
bring the house down. It'd be a bit of a crowd favourite too.
Popular winner,
it would be. And the Ballarat Football Netball League live scores up, mate. We know that you
get it over the final series. If you want to know what's happening in our finals, you'll be able to check the live scores as they happen. So put it on your phone.
Very good. Now, Nutty, thanks for joining us again, mate, on the Footy Show.
Pleasure.
No doubt probably the bloke who thinks he's got the Coach of the Year summed up, or so. Gilly, we know he's a very passionate man about his coaching, but
he told you, didn't he?
Well, he did. He said I'd tell him. I've just slipped there. I should have said that. Gilly, we know you're watching, mate, so hopefully you enjoyed the show. For now, it's goodbye.
He's going to kill
we know this, he probably will. This obviously shows very well supported by McDonald's, Ballarat and Ballarat Serrata. Another big weekend of BFL action coming up, and we look forward to your company again next week. Thank you.